Okay, so today is December 18th. I'm out kind of documenting these mass worldwide murder operations with the government, NSA, FBI. Started with my family, with the cars, tactics, no plates, backwards, pairs of twos, all that. And also I wanted to talk today about, my last segment I spoke about the house on Tiara Street, and how this all started with my family's anger and rage that they didn't have a perfect child or whatever. Just decided at that point that they were going to off me, right? And so I wanted to expand a little on that today because I drove by it today. Now, first I must warn you that I probably only got like 3 hours of sleep, and I'm out doing a lot of driving, which my mommy doesn't like, and she thinks that driving is bad and illegal, and therefore, for some reason, wanting people to launch cars at me.
In 2 miles, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 12B for US 111 north toward Ventura.
Sorry. Her not wanting me to ever drive in cars or talk to people or have friends or date women or all the things like you see the mother in the movie Carrie, right? Anyways, hence, for some reason, people helping them launch vehicles at me, trying to endlessly cause accidents over the last 30 years since I turned 16, trying to make it look like I'm a reckless driver and things like that, right? Why? I cannot answer these questions. Oh, weird. I got like coffee crap splashed on my lens. We'll see how this goes, because I don't really have a topic, and I might be jumping from here to there, and I'm not in a super talkative mood, but hold on, I gotta see which freeway I'm going on here. 12 minutes. Anyways, so we'll see how this goes, but and no, I'm not a danger on the road because I only got 3 hours of sleep, okay? So whatever.
In half a mile, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 12B for US 111 north toward Ventura.
So I drove by the house on Tiara Street.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 12B.
Jeez, like an annoying GPS here. Okay, so, and it kind of sparked some thoughts, which I can't exactly remember, but I'm sure they'll come back to me as I start talking. Okay, so one of the things I noticed, now remember my family does this weird numerology, we're gonna skull fuck you with hidden messages with numbers, patterns, tactics, right? Like everything we're seeing, right? Like, example, the cars parked backwards in twos, or people doing things mimicking when they talk, like okay, or the twos and threes, right? Parking identical cars in front of my house or everywhere I go in twos and threes. And so one of the things I noticed is the address. I'm not 100% sure yet, so I probably should double check, but probably, actually, let me see something. I asked my mother to send me a picture of the house because I wasn't sure which house it was exactly, although I think I spotted it today, and the house I spotted was address, what was it, 22022, which is strange. Let's see, let's see. No, she didn't send me. Okay, so Actually, maybe I shouldn't be having this conversation until I confirm that the house is 2202 too, right? Because then I'm jumping to conclusions. And I don't want to... Hold on. How are you doing? No. Okay. Actually, I'm going to pause this. Where is my camera thingy? Okay, change the topic. I just want to make sure that I'm accurate on the address because I'm not solid on that one. The address I saw today was 22022.
2 miles, use the right 2 lanes to exit 53B toward California 34.
The address that I saw, which I think is probably the house, but I'm not 100% sure, is 22022 Tiara St. And ironically, my father, after hiring me to work at his office, he hired me once at 16 to work at his office, where he told the world that I stole $10,000 from him because he didn't want me building car engines. And working with Pineapple Joe from Hawaii Racing, which ironically I just stopped in there right now. I was in Simi Valley, and I wanted to get video of his building, his office building, and then it looked like they'd moved, so I wanted to go in and see if they had what his original address was. And I was joking around with the guy. I said I stole $10,000, or no, I said, when I walked in, the guy was cryptically being like, I know you, I don't know you, with their little cryptic hidden messages. Sorry, see, I'm a little zony today. So the guy walked in, I walked in.
In half a mile, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 53B toward California 34.
The guy walked in, and I walked in, and he was giving me the little cryptic messages like, I know you, I don't know you, that they do.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 53B, then sharp right onto East Daily Drive.
I can't talk to you with the GPS. It's like every time I start to get into something, I get distracted. Just like what the people have been doing to me 100,000 times per day.
Sharp right onto East Daily Drive, signs for Daily Drive, Lewis Road. Then use the right lane to turn right onto North Lewis Road.
Okay, so because what they do is they're a little cryptic, I know you, I don't know you, paranoid schizo tactics, right? You can sense that they know you, but they're playing their game that I don't know you, and they're obviously doing it intentionally to make me look crazy, right? And try to trigger me into reactions to try to create
use the right
anger.
lane to turn right onto North Lewis Road, then use the right lane to turn right onto Ventura Boulevard.
Okay, I gotta turn this thing off. It's driving me insane. Okay, it's up. Okay, so what they do, like I've been talking about, is I know you, I don't know you. Their spy game tactics, as Brian Longbottom hinted, while having me work on the show Spy Game, to try to make me look crazy, right? I know you, I don't know you. To try to trigger you into anger and rage, to try to get you to go off on them, to try to get you to hit them or do something that they can work with the police to remove me from society. So I walk in, I get that kind of tone. I joke with them. I want to buy a 426 Hemi, and I asked him where their old address used to be, which he said 21 Easy Street, he says, oh, let me go get Joe. Well, Joe's the owner. Everyone called him Pineapple Joe when I was 16 because Joe is Hawaiian and he was from Hawaii. Joe did not look happy when he saw me. I'm pretty sure he noticed me because he had this kind of like a standoffish look, right? He did not look happy to see me. I said, I stole $10,000 and I want to buy a Hemi. He said a Hemi's going to cost a lot more than $4,000 or $10,000. Sorry, I stole $10,000. I want to buy a Hemi. And he said a Hemi's going to cost a lot more than $10,000. Well, maybe not, but he sold me the Hemi for something like $6,000 or $7,000 when I was 16 in his little trade. I was building a 454, and then he said, "Hey, I already paid him like $7,000, and then he said, well, I'll trade you this 426 Hemi from this drug dealer that sold me this," which was obviously making up a lie. It was from a drug dealer. My father then went around telling the world that I stole $10,000 from his office, right? So that was the entire reason my father hired me at 16 to work in his office. Well, I worked my ass off, filing till my fingers bled to pay for, building the car, which I love to build, and I was learning and teaching myself. So, whatever. First, Joe pretended he didn't know me. Then I can't remember what I said. I just sort of was direct, and to the point like, I want to buy a Hemi. He said it's going to cost a lot more. I don't know what I said. I said something, and he said, "So what have you been doing?" I don't know, and then whatever. I'm not going to get into that because it's all on video, and I'll put that edited together later. But anyways, the point I was getting at is later on, after I moved back from college, my father hired me. After I found out at 29, I started at the company with Mike Huntley. We had an internet host provider for 6 years, which Mike was hunting and stalking me. He wasn't really about making money. He just wanted me dead and gone with my family. After that, me not knowing where it was coming from, these worldwide murder operations, and from 29 to about 34, my father then decided to lay into me more, reeling me back in, having Lorena contact me to work in his office, once again, working on me. You stole my medication. You're trying to take over my company. Obviously never said directly to me, but being spewed out to the world on these government propaganda extermination networks, right? And so, after he hired me to work in his office in Tarzana around, I'm guessing, 34, he eventually moved offices, to Northridge, and he moved in office 202. Now, what I was going to talk about, but I'm not sure about the address yet, is that it appears that the address is 22022 Tiara Street, where all these things are being done to me since 4 to 5 years old, since I threw the water in the street and didn't see the car coming. And so the water and mud hit the car, and the guy flipped out and scared the shit out of me, which my family is trying to say that this is a traumatic event, and I'm acting out in anger and rage because of it, and I'm an evil child who does horrible things like this and tries to set people up and cause car accidents, right? Why would they say this? I can't tell you. Other than they just want me dead and gone because their lives switch from one thing to the next. But, anyways, if I am correct and the address is 22022 and my father moved into Northridge office 202, then you can understand the types of suggestive hidden messages that he's doing, trying to create obsessional looping and make me think that I've done something wrong, or get these coerced false confessions that they go from thing to thing trying to get from me, right? Why are they trying to endlessly get things that aren't true, of confessions of guilt? I don't know. But what I can tell you is that when he started, like one of the times we went out to lunch and he said, if you want to get a porn name, it's the street you were born on, and something like this, right? Then I met with porn stars and women my entire life with this, I'm gonna get you to chase me and then I'm gonna hunt you down and kill you, right? This weird thing that they came up with, that seems to relate to this whole incident at 5 years old of my family saying that I'm sort of trying to set this guy up by throwing water in the street, right? And then women come into my life, like Corey Bixby at 16. Will you drive me home? Sure. Kevin's a horrible monster. He needs to die, right? For absolutely nothing happening, and this going from girl to girl my entire life, right? Especially with porn stars and things like that, right? And so, the amount of porn stars that have followed me to coffee shops and supermarkets, there's probably like 40 of them, right? And not one of them had any interest in me. They just had ulterior motives for some reason, because they're angry at me for like something from 5 years old, right? Which doesn't even really make sense, because why would porn stars my entire life be naming themselves after aspects of my life and then following me around in anger and rage? For example, my brother putting on his license plate frame, I swerve and hit people at random, or Chasey Lane is a perfect example. Chasey Lane probably named herself Chasey Lane based on me 16 and building cars, and then what they did was I flew back to Colorado and they had Chasey Lane. This is when I was going to school at the University of Colorado. They had Chasey Lane on the opposite side of me in first class, which I slept most of the flight, and when I got off the plane, I had my pool cue and I was walking behind her, and she does this like crazy Ivan quick turnaround as if I like did something to her, right? And then larger and larger groups hunt me down and come after me, right? Things like this. Well, why did they strategically put her on the plane? Why is she using her name to send me hidden messages? Why are then people mad at me for simply walking off an airplane, saying and doing nothing to her? This going from porn star to porn star. Example, most likely Taylor Wayne's name probably has something to do with Wayne Thuna and me driving around at 14 on motorcycles. I can't tell you for sure. Bridget Monroe, who originally was Hunter Scott, using that name because Mike Huntley and Brian Weaver accused me of bullying Scott Gellin to death until he killed himself. Yet there's nothing I ever did to Scott Gellin except say hi one time. Whether it's true that he hung himself naked or something, I don't know if that's even true. But that's what Joel Littman, who was coming after me with their so-called public shaming operations of things that they did that they're pinning on me, right? And so you get the idea with the paranoid schizo things and the names that they're doing to me. And then in order for them to try to cover it up, they try to say that I've done something wrong by going through all my computer names or IRC names or CB names to cover up their crimes against me, right? Trying to make, like usual, their crimes look justified. So you could understand that my father doing these skull fucking tactics, which they call them, which I was threatened by the LAPD working with a girl named Skylar in the late 90s who they sent after me on IRC to follow me into the Colorado channel. A girl who lived by my brother in Florida basically alluded to skull fucking people, and it turned out that she was trying to skull fuck me with the LAPD, and the LAPD are trying to cover up all these things they were doing to me on IRC as well to have me killed, right? Or locked away. So hence, I'm not sure about the address, but my father moving to Northridge in 202 is probably hinting about 5 years old in 22022, right? I'm not sure. Maybe that's where they came up with these twos tactics. I have no clue. All I know is that my father's a psychotic murderer. It's interesting that everything seems to hinge off of this insignificant incident of a kid throwing some water and mud in the street, right? I mean, who would care? And then trying to turn it around how I'm crazy and out of control and acting out and doing all these things which aren't remotely true. I mean, where's the acting out, right? They cannot have a specific a specific debate, conversation, topic about anything specific, right? If you're going to say Kevin Perlman is out of control monster who's acting out, then you got to have an argument, right? I mean, what's the argument? I'm acting out how? What is it I've done? Well, you turned 16 and you built car engines? That's not acting out. That's like innovative. That's like someone who has a passion and does something. You peeled out a few times in your car. Okay. My brother's going out and he's trying to bash people's skulls in with crowbars, and he's loading the trunks up with weapons, running around on the streets, and then he's going on his so-called runs, getting cars to chase him on the freeway, throwing pennies at the cars and all sorts of shit like this. And I'm acting out because I'm building cars and I've broken the speed limit, right? And they damn well know Jason was doing these things, but they're not mad at him. They're only mad at me for being born. And that's funny I say that, because the first thought that came to my mind was Jason Bourne, but they should have really called the movie Kevin Bourne. They're mad at me because I was the good kid, right? And everyone worldwide's coming after me for things that nobody could care less about, right? You built cars when you're 16. You broke the speed limit. You peeled out. I mean, it's like, are you serious? Right? And we're going to hunt you down. We're going to kill you. You're going to have people launch vehicles at you over and over to try to make it look like you're plowing people with your car and trying to T-bone them and things like this, right? And I'm acting out? Hello, did I miss something? Right? So anyways, I'm kind of tired of that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk very long. But I'm sort of going to change topics here. Let me think. I don't really have a topic, and I haven't wrote anything down. I think what I want to talk about today is Eric Jonson, Tom Farley, maybe my brother and their so-called runs. Okay? Let me think. I'm trying to think of the chronological order here. Let me first start talking about Eric Jonson. There was a kid in Hidden Hills when I was, whatever, let's say I knew Eric Jonson from 10 to 18 or whatever, right? Eric Jonson lived in Hidden Hills. I lived on Hoback Glen. There's probably a whole deal of weird shit going on because I lived on Hoback Glen, right? With using the street name skull fucking, which the police and worldwide support are doing now to kill me. Eric Jonson lived, I don't remember the street. I think it might have been called Jim Bridger or something. I'm not sure. He lived by Craig Diamond. Now, as I recall, Eric Jonson supposedly blew up a mailbox, like made a pipe bomb and blew up a mailbox. Maybe that's where they come up with all this explosion and bomb shit. And at one point, Eric Jonson blew up Darren Light's mailbox with an M80, or tried anyways. Now wait, I gotta keep this in order. Before this was the egg mobbing with Tom Farley. So remember, I talk a little about Tom Farley and how he was contacted to approach. He was kind of sent in my life to be my friend jailer at around 8 years old. Working on all these angles for 30 years to remove me from society. Now, it's Tom who has worked on the Kevin Hates Persians. It's Tom who has been a large part of Kevin Hates Black People. It is Tom. Tom's been Kevin hates women and is provoking and trolling and trying to set up women. A lot of that starts from Tom Farley. The big one from Tom Farley is the lies to the world that I'm crazy and I saw an alien in his bathroom, which never happened. What happened was we walked in his adjoining bathroom with his brother Sean, and Tom yells and points at the window with a reflective light, "Look, an alien," and that was it. I never said I saw an alien. Tom Farley said, "Look, an alien," putting words in my mouth, and then telling the world that I saw an alien, that I think I saw an alien. I'm crazy, right? He also told the world that I think people are stupid, trying to turn mass worldwide groups against me, basically working on me for 30 years, just the next person in line, with that tactic, right? Because it goes from person to person. Let's start with the school bus. This is a big one, right? Okay, the first thing I recall on the school bus is someone saying, because I don't know why this is, but there's this whole thing with Kevin Hates Black People. After I kissed the black girl at Sunny Skies Day Camp, showing I have no problem with black people, and that's a sign of affection. Yet the world's being told I'm a white supremacist for kissing a black girl, right? Doesn't make really much sense, but that's what's going on. Now, on the school bus, after this is in middle school. So now this is after Sunny Sky, way after Sunny Sky's day camp between like second grade or third grade or something. I kissed the black girl. After this, I'm now skipping to about 8th grade, okay? So there's a big time shift here. Now we're on the school bus, 8th grade, around Christy Reynolds' time, which I talked about what Tom Farley was doing with Tracy Picos. We're on the school bus to elementary school, A. Wright, and I can recall someone saying on the bus, "Black and red, then you're dead." I don't know why they were saying it. I don't know who was saying it, but it's this memory I have of someone saying it on the bus, and I think that's when the black people and groups of people started following me around in red and blacks later on with the red and black tactic around after 30 years old, right? I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that's why they're doing it, because someone was saying that on the bus and they were pinning it on me like everything else, right? Well, my family's trying to probably use that against me, saying that I said it like everything else, pinning all these things on me. What happened at this point was Tom Farley didn't like Eric Jonson. I'm guessing Tom Farley didn't really like anyone, but he really, more than him not liking Eric Jonson, he didn't like me. He hunted me and stalked me with the police and government my entire life. And family. So, one day, now remember, this whole run thing is very important, right? Why do they call these runs? Well, my guess is they call these runs because around 14, maybe 16. Oh, wait, no, now I'm getting confused. At about 14, I started jogging, and I can remember jogging with my father too, and going on 5K runs with my father and things like that, right? So now they got mad at me for this and started calling them runs, right? Trying to elude something, send me some innuendo or message. So I don't know why they called these things runs, but it's because I used to jog and run. But I can't tell you why, what the hidden message is. Now, the first thing I can recall is Tom Farley going out with me on his horse trail by his house and throwing eggs, lobbing eggs into the street, trying to hit cars driving, right? Well, why was why was Tom Farley doing that? My guess is that Tom Farley was told that because at 5 years old, I threw water in the street, or 4 years old, at 4 years old, a tiny little 4-year-old, accidentally throwing some water on a car while emptying out a pail of mud and water on the street, Tom Farley was told that I'm the bad seed and I needed to be removed from society, right? So Tom Farley says, Kevin, come with me, blah, blah, blah. He grabs some eggs and he goes out onto his horse trail, by Round Meadow Road, he lobs eggs over the horse trail onto Round Meadow Road, trying to hit cars. Hold on, I gotta do a battery switch. At this point, most likely telling the world that Kevin Perlman is a crazy, horrible monster, bad seed, trying to cause car accidents by lobbing eggs from the horse trail onto hitting cars, being a reckless, out of control, lashing out in rage nuisance, public nuisance, right? Yet, there's nothing I did. Tom Farley just said, come with me. And then he just started throwing eggs. Well, what am I supposed to do? Start bashing the guy in the face and trying to kill him? Plus, we're like 14 or something, right? 12, 13, 14. So kids do that shit. Anyways, but the point I'm making is this isn't kids just being kids. This is a kid framing his friend over and over. And Tom Farley is not an isolated incident. It goes from one person sequentially after the next my entire life, right? So Tom Farley's trying, what is he trying to do? Most likely he's trying to reinforce the lie. Does that make sense? If every person I meet, example, if every girl I meet cries wolf and says Kevin did this to me, Kevin did that to me, which has happened to me since kissing that black girl at around 8 years old, then the world's gonna say Kevin's treating women like shit and that's unacceptable, right? But yet, I have done nothing to any woman but be the nicest person known to man and turn 29 and find out there's a worldwide campaign to hunt me and kill me. Right? Okay. So, the same goes for the reckless nuisance. Right? Tom Farley is trying to reinforce the lie that my family is making up from 5 years old because they're mad at me, because they don't like me, right? Now, remember that my family at 5 years old starts in with the trying to make me look like a violent paranoid schizo by showing me the movie Wizards and other movies, and then having people try to send me hidden messages or hint about them to make it look like I conform to media and I'm a paranoid schizo, right? Things I had no clue were going on till maybe 38 years old, right? And looking back. So you can kind of see a pattern of behavior with Tom Farley and everyone else who is near me, ever, right? Okay, so now Tom Farley is throwing eggs in cars on Round Meadow Roads, most likely saying it's Kevin Perlman. Okay, so now remember, a couple of years ago, black people followed me to a Starbucks on Victory, and there's a black employee stalking me at the Starbucks, like many other Starbucks, on Victory and Canoga. Why is a black employee with thousands of other black employees at Starbucks stalking me? Because I kissed a black girl at 8 years old? Doesn't make much sense, but there you have it. And black people in the black community were following me, not just to this location, but to every location. And Canoga and Victory, and these black people kept harassing me, which has been an ongoing thing. I find out since 8 years old. And then I'm bicycling home, and the black people egged me. Well, what is the connection between the black people egging me, right? They didn't egg me for no reason. Black people haven't been following me from place to place for 30 years, trying to have me killed, and then egging me for no reason. The physical attacks from black people, the endless death threats from black people, the no relaxing for you nigger, all because I kissed a black girl. Not only does that not make sense, But, porn star Vanessa Blue following me to, Coffee Bean, probably telling everyone I stalked and raped her by simply saying hi and that I liked her work, right? Being as nice as could be. You name it. Why am I being hunted? Well, it has to be about something, right? Okay, so let's go back and do the math. At this time, we're on the bus. Someone's saying black and red, then you're dead. Now, why are they saying that? I don't know. But most likely, they're trying to hint, their mirror game, right? I'm going to show you who you are. You can't see yourself. So people sort of befriend me and then be a complete abusive douchebag to try to make me think that that's who I am because my mother's running around with my father saying I can't see myself, right? So someone's probably sitting on that bus saying black and red, then you're dead, and then everyone's saying Kevin hates black people, and Kevin said that, right? I can't tell you what thoughts going through their head. I can just tell you that I woke up at 30 years old with a worldwide campaign to hunt me down and kill me, saying that I'm a white supremacist and I hate black people and things like that, with absolutely no reason at all, right? No reason. None whatsoever. Based on complete thin air. Worldwide campaign to kill me. Based on thin air. There's no reason for it. I turned 5. My family said we're going to hunt down and exterminate our child. That's it. So once again, let's do the math. We're on the bus. Someone says black and red, then you're dead. I don't know if that's a song lyric. I don't know where that comes from. It's kind of like the my brother and his friends were singing when I was in Calabasas High. My brother and his friends were singing because her name is Kelly, 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 which comes from nowhere. I was never friends with Kelly Hatch. Never had really any interactions with Kelly Hatch in high school. And then I go to Southern Oregon State College, and Kelly Hatch is told to follow me up to Southern Oregon State College, stalking and hunting me with the police. Okay? So, the first thing you need to ask is why was my brother singing and his friend singing because her name's Kelly, 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 and then sending Kelly Hatch after me to have me stalked, hunted, and killed with the police and government is very strange, right? Now, we have a guy sitting on the bus, or someone sitting on the bus, saying black and red, wait, how did it go? Black and red, then you're dead, and then for some reason the black community is hunting me down worldwide trying to kill me, right? Okay? I'm not sure what that is, if that's a song lyric or what. I don't know where the hell that comes from. I just recall someone saying that on the bus. Now, after this, Tom Farley wants to egg mob Eric Jonson. Now, first of all, once again, I'm going to say kids do stupid shit, and it's not like this is the type of thing that someone would be hunted and killed with worldwide support for, whether it was me or not. You wouldn't be hunted your entire life with a planet full of people over it for being a kid at 16. But it wasn't me, like all these other things. For example, why isn't Tom Farley being hunted? Or my brother's road rage shit, why isn't he being hunted? Like their argument, for example, is my brother got me to go with him like the movie Training Day. Like he got me once to go with him on his road rage shit. Like Hoyt, right? And I'm being hunted by worldwide campaigns for my brother's shit, right? But everyone knows that my brother was continually doing these things with his friends, because just like you watch the movie Training Day, you say that, what is it, Denzel Washington or whatever, you say, well, you don't say Hoyt's the bad guy, you say Denzel Washington's the bad guy, right? Well, everyone knows that my brother was out doing all this shit, and he got me to go with him once. But they're only angry at me. They're not angry at my brother and his friends. Why is that, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? They're not angry at the guy that's actually doing the shit. They're just angry at some guy they could get to go along once, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? That is not normal human behavior. That says something. That alone says that these people are part of a mass conspiracy to end my life, and they're just going to say what they need to say to have me killed. Now, where was I? Okay, so I was getting to the egg mobbing, right? So Tom Farley doesn't like Eric Jonson, and so what he does is he grabs some eggs and he puts the eggs in the bushes at the bus stop. But wait, let's link the eggs. Why eggs? Right? What are the eggs about? I forgot. There's got to be a reason why he's using eggs, right? So, why is Tom Farley so big on the egg? I mean, yeah, people egg people, Halloween people egg people, whatever. I remember Halloween as kids, everyone brought eggs and everyone eggs. So that's not super uncommon, but when a 40-year-old is egged by groups of black people following him from place to place for 17/40 years, there's got to be a reason, right? There's got to be a connection between eggs and the situation that there's a worldwide campaign to have me killed. Well, the eggs, as I'm sure I talked about in other segments, link back to Sunny Skies Day Camp. Link back to Sunny Skies Day Camp, kissing the black girl, and then in the class afterwards, one of the teachers cooking, and she cracks an egg, like a fertilized egg, and a little bloody chicken embryo falls into the food, right? So that's where the whole egg thing comes from. So there's a connection between black people and the eggs, right? Why they're angry at me? I don't know. Because once again, why are they angry? I kissed the black girl. Why are you angry? You should be like, good, you know? The guy is not a racist. He kissed the black girl. Why would you be angry? Are you telling me that the black community is mad at me that I kissed a black girl and there's a worldwide campaign to kill me and I'm supposed to swallow that pill? Yeah, I don't think so, right? Okay, so that's like third grade or something, T1 class. Third grade, I'm guessing. T1, I kiss a black girl, they crack the egg, the bloody embryo falls in the food they're cooking, right? Now, 8th grade, we're on the bus, someone says black and red, then you're dead, and I know I'm repeating this, and I'm repeating this to hammer it into you, right? So you understand. Black and red, then you're dead, and then after this, Tom Farley wants to egg mob Eric Jonson. Now, technically, you could say Jonson is a very black person last name. I mean, Jonson isn't just black people, but there are a lot of black people with the name Jonson. Or, technically, you could also say that Jonson is a dick, right? However you want to look at it, I guess. But what they're doing is they're trying to send me schizophrenia messages, references to flip me out, to lock me away in jail cells, mental institutions, or get reactions, right? Okay, so Tom Farley, and remember, if a family wants a child healthy, they don't stock them with mental illness campaigns and try to kill them. Just remember that one. So this is about creating problems for someone, not helping someone. So where am I? So Tom Farley hides a bunch of eggs in the bushes at the bus stop. We go to middle school. We get off the bus. We get off the school bus on the way home. And Tom Farley yells, "Grunion, run." Why did Tom Farley call Grunion? Why did Tom Farley call Eric Jonson Grunion? I have no fucking clue. But he yelled "Grunion, run." He grabbed the eggs. Everyone grabbed eggs, and everyone ran after Eric, egging him, like egg mobbing him, right? Now I'm not going to tell you that's the worst thing in the world, although Tom Farley took it one step further because he was the ringleader, and he must not have really liked Eric Jonson. He ran up by Eric Jonson and hit him in the back of the head, and one of the parents was watching and said something and like yelled, and everyone scattered, right? And I can recall that the adult at the time was by Ben Stein's house, which nobody, I don't know if anyone knows who I'm talking about, but there was an adult by Ben Stein's house. Tom Farley hits Eric Jonson in the back of the head, and then an adult sees it and this and that. Now remember that Tom Farley is accusing me of being like a wife beater, hating women, and beating up women and abusing women. Right? Now why is the guy who's running around egg mobbing, hitting people, trying to make me look like I'm angry, full of rage, and doing things to people like that, right? It just goes from thing to thing, right? But remember, it's not just Tom Farley. It jumps from person to person. So obviously you can derive that once again, not only is Tom Farley pinning the egging cars on a horse trail on me, he's also pinning egg mobbing Eric Jonson on me. They're also pinning someone saying black and red, then you're dead on me. And then he's also pinning me hitting Eric Jonson, or him hitting Eric Jonson on me. And then you have the Tracy Picos things. He was doing the schizophrenia messages after thinking Christy Reynolds was cute and good looking and couldn't keep my eyes off her, right? You see what I'm saying? Right? Okay, so that was the whole school bus thing. Tom Farley going ballistic on Eric Jonson. Now, where things get stranger, is Eric Jonson is told to come after me. Right? Well, why is Eric Jonson coming after me when Tom Farley hit him? Right? Doesn't really make any sense. But let's talk about it. So after this, Eric Jonson says, he says, Kevin, I'm going to, after this, Eric Jonson says, Kevin, I'm going to, blow up Darren Light's mailbox with an M80. And there's this whole thing. I think there was one point where Eric Jonson made a pipe bomb, and he blew up a locker at Calabasas High or something, and I think he might have been suspended or something, right? I don't know if that was a rumor or true, but what I do know is at one point Eric Jonson said, Kevin, sorry, I'm kind of tired today. At one point, Eric Jonson said, Kevin, I'm gonna blow up Darren Light's mailbox. Do you want to come with me? Okay, whatever. He shoves an M80 in Darren Light's mailbox, and it explodes. It doesn't explode the mailbox. It burns the edges a little black, whatever. Right? And we get busted once again by Mr. Leff, and I gotta go to Darren Light's family and apologize to him, which makes sense, right? I mean, what I did was wrong, although I didn't really do it. Does that make sense? Eric Jonson, I was there. I didn't really do it. For example, Eric Jonson had the idea to blow up Darren Light's mailbox. Eric Jonson had the M80s. Eric Jonson just wanted me to be around him. And then Eric Jonson put it in the mailbox. Eric Jonson lit it, and it blew up the mailbox. Or it burnt the inside of the mailbox. It didn't really do any damage. Then I apologize. I don't know if he had to apologize or whatever, but I apologize. And yeah, it was wrong of me to go with him, but I didn't really do anything wrong. Does that make sense? Like, I was just kind of there, sort of aiding and abetting, but didn't really do anything. I was just present at the thing, right? Whatever. It's still trivial kid shit, right? But the real question you need to ask is, why was Eric Jonson trying to frame me, right? Because there's no worldwide campaign hunting down Eric Jonson right now over something that stupid and childish. They're all hunting me down. There's also a thing with Darren Moselle and Navid, my neighbor before this, two Darrens. Navid telling me we should throw rocks in the pool and make splashes and it'll be really cool. And I was a really young kid, just doing stupid shit, right? Throwing rocks because I want to see splashes in Darren's pool down the hill. Not personal towards Darren Moselle, but I believe that Darren Moselle was sent after me with my brother and the rest of his friends. While Darren Moselle is a writer in Hollywood, and all these things are being written into movies to try to turn me into a violent paranoid schizo, and Darren Moselle involved in the little psycho movies of putting me in their movie Psychos, holding the knife up to my throat saying, let's make him the fifth member of the Bee Gees, and some reason the police and my family mad at me for them putting me in that movie or doing that doesn't really make much sense. Showing all sorts of weird, freaky shit going on, but two Darrens, two frame jobs on two different Darrens, right? Okay? And since we're there, there's also Darren Moselle asking Martin Grunberg to shoot him with a BB gun for some stupid reason, and Martin shooting him, and then them telling the world that I shot Darren with a BB gun, right? Once again, another frame job. Okay, so, yeah, I forgot all about that one. I mean, we're sitting there, and Darren walks up to Martin Grunberg, and he says, shoot me with the BB gun. Why would you ask someone to shoot someone with a fucking BB gun? So Martin shoots him with a BB gun. It doesn't really hurt him, creates a little bloody welt. And then they pin it on me. That's probably why Victoria Walker gave me the BB gun. Right? With the police and my father. And recently went to maximum security prison for this toy gun, which the police are trying to use against me with my father, with all my father's other things, like putting bullet holes in his 300E Mercedes and telling the world I tried to kill or scare him. Okay, so where was I with Eric Jonson? Okay, so Eric Jonson, after Tom Farley's Grunion run, wants to reel me along with an M80, blow up Darren Light's mailbox, which he just burns the inside, and we get caught. It's all pinned on me. Once again, nobody cares about Eric Jonson. Okay, now I'm about 14 or 15. Now my brother and his friends go out on their runs, as they call it. Once again, we're going from Grunion Run with Eric Jonson, who has no real relation with my brother and his friends, to my brother and his friends' runs, right? Where my brother's going out with these trolling tactics, which I don't even know what troll means other than the movie Lord of the Rings, but these passive-aggressive, provoking tactics to try to get people to chase them as his friends move on Chase Street, and then go ballistic on them for provoking them into chasing them. The same exact behavior which has been done to me from one person sequentially after the next since 5 years old, right? Trying to accuse me of doing something intentional, when I threw the water and mud on the street. So, for example, I threw the water and mud on the street. It hit a car. The guy in the car kind of ran after me. I freaked out. I ran in crying. My family's saying that I'm passive-aggressively going after the guy and trying to get him to chase me because I'm an evil devil child, right? Sorry, I'm trying to set the GPS and it's acting weird. I'm the evil devil child of things that, even if it were to be true, which it's not, could be a simple mistake in life, right? Well, in my life, you don't make mistakes. You got to be 1,000,000% perfect or you're a dead man. There we go. Okay, where's the little direction button? Finding best routes. Why are you not routing? So, Kevin, the bad seed devil child for imperfection, at 4 years old or something. 4 years old! I mean, Jesus Christ. What was my other imperfection crime? Did I hold the bars too long like this in the crib? Right? You see where I'm going with this? Sorry, I'm trying to do too much. I'm trying to route this. Okay, good. That's routed.
In 800 feet, turn right onto Rancho Calicuas Drive. Turn right onto Rancho Calicuas Drive.
Okay, now what the hell was I talking about? I was talking
Continue
about...
on Rancho Calicuas Drive for half a mile.
I was talking about Eric Jonson and the BB gun, the eggs. Oh, the runs. So now we go from Eric Jonson's or Tom Farley's Grunion runs with Eric Jonson working with my brother and his friends to my brother's runs where they're passive aggressively provoking people, like driving through drive-thrus and spraying people with water fire extinguishers, getting cars to chase them and then going ballistic.
Turn right onto Mission Oaks Boulevard.
Going ballistic on the cars, like we're gonna provoke you, get you to chase us, and then go after you and punish you for chasing us, even though they were creating the problems, right? Now, my brother.
Take the next right onto Mission Oaks Boulevard.
Now, from this pattern of behavior that you're seeing, all these things being pinned on me, right? Thing after thing.
Mission Oaks Boulevard for half a mile.
Thing after thing being pinned on me, right? You can see a pattern of behavior that they're going out, doing these things, and pinning them on me. Over and over and over and over. So when my brother's going out in their so-called runs and getting cars to chase them and doing all this and doing all that, why are they doing it? Well, they're premeditatedly doing their runs, which somehow link back to me going jogging and then being angry of me jogging and lifting weights. And so they're going out doing all these things and saying it's Kevin, right? Over and over, thing after thing. Right? So, so I've just rattled off, I don't know how many things that have been pinned on me and given to the world, is unheard of, okay? What I've just told you alone is unheard of. This many things does not happen to someone. And this isn't even close to what's been done to me. This isn't even close to 1%. Right? And I'm just talking about the setups and frame jobs. I'm not even talking about all the other things. I would say this is less than 1% of the setups and frame jobs, not the mass attacks since 5 years old. Okay, so my brother also did other shit like Universal Studios would go on the ET ride, throw some pennies, and you know, a little peer pressure. I thought it was funny and did it a few times. Okay, so I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I'm the perfect child, right? I'm not going to tell you that I'm the perfect child. I'm not going to sit here and do that. What I'm going to do is going to tell you I'm a really good person, but I'm a human being. And human beings joke around, they do pranks on each other, they're fun-loving, they're not perfect anal retentive squares, okay? And, yeah, I admit, I went just like my brother and his friends throwing all these pennies on the ET ride or whatever. The real question is, why were they doing it on the ET ride? I'll get to that. But I threw a few pennies joking around. Doesn't hurt anyone. I think I was throwing some pennies at some animatronics, like a penny here, a penny this. And I think I was dropping a few pennies on the little people mover, whatever. And when I went skiing, I would drop snow on people's heads, right? On the chairlift. Whatever. Who cares, right? Who would give a shit? You drop some snow on someone's head on a chairlift. Who would give a flying fuck? Right? Some guy standing there and some snow, a little bit of snow hits him on the head. Ah, funny, right? Okay. That's not the type of thing that launches worldwide murder operations. Now, why was my brother throwing pennies on the ET ride? Do you or do you not think that that has to do with Tom Farley's lies? Sorry, getting comfortable. Tom Farley's lies that when I was like 8 years old, I saw an alien in his bathroom. It's definitely directly connected. And it's connected because they're working their little obsessional looping, or we want to turn you into a violent paranoid schizo. Okay, so I've talked about Tom Farley and Eric Jonson. Now remember, in University of Colorado, years later, they used Jim Johnson, my computer imaging teacher, to work on me with schizophrenia angles. Jim Johnson was using his name Johnson to hint about my childhood, and he wanted to do the Sleeping Dog contest, as I mentioned before, a website of our art, the class's art, hinting about Rhoda, my father's dog, who he kept put shock collars on, Rhodesian Ridgeback. Also the same name is Rhoda from the movie The Bad Seed, who my family sent Kelly Hatch after me at Southern Oregon State College, wanting me to watch the movie 1946, The Bad Seed, to send me messages that I'm like the murdering girl, Rhoda, in The Bad Seed. And so, Jim Johnson was hinting about Rhoda, who Vasu stepped over, and she jumped up and bit him for some reason. Not very hard, but still. Scared the shit out of Vasu and me. What else? Oh, and here's the connecting point. In this class, I composited a picture of Mike Tyson fighting a game character, Katana, right? And then they got mad at me, saying that I'm a schizophrenic and a wife beater and a woman beater, and I hate black people, telling the entire city, and in 1994 the entire planet across the internet, that I'm a dangerous, violent, paranoid schizo because of this artwork, which goes to every single piece of artwork I've ever created, even my mother demanding I draw her a tree to psychoanalyze at like 8 years old or something, right? Stupid shit that you can't even fathom. So, if a tree at 8 years old that my mother didn't like is the end-all be-all of crimes, then you get the picture if it's a harmless composite of Mike Tyson fighting a game character, Katana, right? Now, what are they doing? They're linking Jim Johnson to Eric Jonson to a boxer who punches, and then somehow sculpting and twisting and contorting complete random information, taking it out of context and using my artwork against me, right? Kevin created artwork. He's a schizo. He thinks he's a black man who's a woman beater and hits women or hits people. Then what they're doing is they're saying it wasn't Tom Farley that hit Eric Jonson, it was Kevin Perlman who hit Eric Jonson. Now, you might be thinking, that's insane. Who sits around and writes that kind of fiction, right? Well, my family does with the government. And then they give it out to the entire planet on these propaganda, disinformation, defamation, slander, libel networks to rile the world up to have me hunted and killed, saying I'm a violent, paranoid schizo. Now, remember, this artwork of Mike Tyson didn't have me in it. It didn't have me posting a picture of my face over Mike Tyson's. It didn't have me making some kind of verbal or written statement stating that I think I'm Mike Tyson and I beat the shit out of women. So where do these thoughts come from these other people? Because they're not for me. I never said any of these things. So now the next thing they're going to tell me is my artwork is somehow making them hunt me down. Well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. My artwork is making them hunt me down. How is my artwork doing anything to anyone? That's like saying if you go to a movie, it's okay for you to hunt down and kill the director, writer, and producer because they're making you hunt them down because you didn't like the movie. My point? If you don't like my fucking artwork, that's fine. Don't like it. But if you're going to psychoanalyze it and hunt me down and try to have me killed with worldwide support, then you're a murderer, and it's not about anything but someone not liking someone, right? If I didn't say it, if I did not specifically say, and when I said it, it wasn't sarcastic, and it was with, like, merit, right? It was with full meaning, that I really do hit women, and all women need to die, and I said it with anger, and I said it in such a way that it's believable, then you could say that guy scares me, but it still wouldn't go worldwide. But if you're looking at random artworks of mine and jumping from one to the next, first saying that I think I'm an alien, then saying I saw an alien, then saying I'm a woman beater, then saying something about trees, then saying because your artwork has blue and yellow blocks in it, I've somehow threatened someone's life, then a black girl on a chessboard with no derogatory statements on it, nothing negative, that those people sorry, my throat's dry from talking, those people have clear intent, motive, premeditation to have me hunted and killed, and will say whatever they need to say to smear my name to the world. Okay? If I put a black girl on a chessboard and like chop off her head and put written messages on it, all black women need to be hunted and killed, then, just then, you could say Kevin's a fucking crazy, violent nutjob who hates black people. But if a black girl contacts me and says, Kevin, will you do a photo shoot? In this instance, her name was Ariana, sent after me with Aubrey Fisher and the police to have me hunted and killed. And I go out of my way for this person and create great art for this person with nothing negative in it. And she says, because there's a black girl on a chessboard with every other person on the planet, therefore you hate black people, we're going to hunt you and kill you. That person had it out for me, or any person, and she came after me from the very first moment that she contacted me to hunt me and stalk me. Working on the Kevin hates black people, so I'm going to befriend him and have him killed. Well, let me tell you, if I hate black people, then when she contacted me for a photo shoot, why did I say yes? Right? Why did I say yes if I hate black people? Why do a good 40% of my photo shoots have black women in them? And these black women all contacted me. Okay? If I hate black women, why are they contacting me and I'm doing photo shoots with them? I'm doing photo shoots with them because I hate black women, and I'm creating fabulous fucking artwork way beyond the scope that anyone else is doing. Well, not anyone, but way beyond the scope that the average photographer does for them, and I hate them? That makes no sense. That argument would not stand up in court. It wouldn't stand up anywhere. 100 black women contacted me for photo shoots. I created fabulous work for them, and it's because I hate black women. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. In whose world? Right? Hello. Okay, but then, of course, after the black women, it switches to Hispanic women. And then I hate Hispanic women for all the Hispanic women that contacted me for photo shoots, right? And then it goes to blonde women. And then it goes to Lorena Escobar asking me to do a photo shoot. And I hate her too, and I've ruined her life, right? Okay, do you see a pattern of behavior? Kevin Perlman is being the nicest person known to man. He's going out of his way, creating great work for people. He's being friendly to everyone. And each and every person has some cry wolf story how I've wronged them and I need to be hunted and killed. Okay? Have you ever seen anything like that in history? No. Maybe once in a blue moon you got some weird, angry weirdo. But one person sequentially after the next for 40 years coming in my life. Kevin, will you give me a ride home? Hunt Kevin down and kill him. Kevin, will you create a photo, do a photo shoot with me? Hunt down and kill Kevin. Kevin, will you do this for me? Hunt down and kill Kevin. My father, no good deed goes unpunished. Literally, with their literal tactics and schizophrenia murder tactics. Okay. So anyways, you can understand how my artwork and now how Jim Jonson was collecting all my artwork in his computer imaging class to use against me, just like my mother with her art therapy degree, the psychology community, the government, the NSA, the FBI, jumping from every single piece of art I have ever created since 5 years old to use against me in these extermination operations by riling up the world with every single thing I do, turning them against me without a context, disinformation. Okay, so now I've sort of jumped from Eric Jonson to closer to the present, so I want to try to, while I'm showing you how these events are all connected, I want to try to jump back to my early childhood, but I also want you to understand, and this is the most important thing, how the fuck does Jim Jonson, a professor in University of Colorado, have personal information about my childhood at 16 in Woodland Hills, California? Okay? That is what you need to understand. Every single teacher, every single professor, all this information is being data mined with NSA resources collected and given not only to teachers and professors, but to people worldwide to use against me, taken out of context and turned against me. And turned into complete fiction. So, my photography teacher in University of Colorado, Nick, was working on me with all sorts of angles from my childhood. Teachers in Southern Oregon State College, all working on me from things from my childhood. Kelly Hatch sent after me to follow me up to Southern Oregon State College. More people told to follow me to University of Colorado. I think I talked about the whole Noah Schiller thing, the frame jobs with my mother, and the feds sending the guy in my house, and my mother getting me to move in with Noah Schiller, working on me with their setup and frame job operations with women and things like that. Right? Showing that they won't leave me alone. They won't let me live my life. And then they turn it around. All of a sudden you became a schizo at 29. Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm going to have to pause this because I'm sort of drew a blank, and I need to take a rest because I've been talking. So I'm going to pause this and try to remember some situations from around, like 10 to 16 that I can stick to the Eric Jonson, Tom Farley days. Okay, so I'm exhausted, and I can't really think about what else to talk about. I started off pretty tired, and now it's the end of the day, and I kind of brainstormed on what to think about around that time period, but I'm just too damn tired to come up with any thoughts from my past right now, and trust me, I have a brain full of thoughts starting at the age 5 of endless operations to exterminate me till after 29, a billion times more, exponentially growing since 5 years old to have me hunted and exterminated for no reason since 5 years old. So I guess I'm just gonna chill here at the beach for a while. Something that is also, I guess, a crime. Smoke a cigar, a 1845 Partaga. These things are really good. I think they're only like $13 or $14. Although that's pretty expensive for me because I smoke a lot of cigars, so $14 or $10 a cigar adds up if you smoke a lot of cigars, right? And so whatever, but love cigars. I'm at the beach. I'm down in the land of Scorch. I'll show you guys if I can pull this off. Here we go. If the light isn't blinding, the backlight. Right, the land of Scorch here, going towards Malibu. And I think that, what is that, a gray... Looks like it was a gray Altima that probably saw me and pulled to the side of the road to try to send me messages, but here, maybe I can set you here while I light my cigar, and I'm not really gonna say too much because I'm just tired, and chill out, and you can be my little imaginary camera friend chilling out at the beach. Well, there we go. Uh-oh, my lighter's running out of fuel. Running out of lighter fluid. Do I have a backup lighter? Yes. Maybe. So, it's rare that I get to relax, especially with the death threats worldwide, like no relaxing for you, nigger. For crimes of kissing a black girl at 8 years old, but with worldwide support to kill me. But this is kind of relaxing. Probably because there's not really any access where other people can show up easily, right? Like if I go to Leo Creo, they can all kind of park there and follow me, but I'm in the middle of the road. So it's difficult to find me. because unless you give someone GPS coordinates right now, which has happened a lot of times with the illegal phone tracking, GPS tracking with the police. It makes it a lot more difficult, but yeah. So here, I'll let you enjoy the ocean while I babble nonsense because I'm so tired. So it's kind of like a diary entry slash you chilling with me here at the end at the beach, and that's it, because that's really what life should be. People enjoying life and making money, and positive experiences, not like the Perlman family motto, we had a child and let's bash his skull in until he's dead and gone with worldwide support. That's not what life's about. Life is about purpose and doing things to have a legacy, where people, you can either make money, obviously, do things for yourself, but at the same time provide for others, to make their life a better experience and everyone's happy, which is pretty much what capitalism is about. It's just too bad I come from a beyond any level of insane family. But you know, what's the point in living if you're not living, right? And my family's like, they're always talking about money and shit, but what's the point of money? What is the point of money? If you could have $1 billion, but what's the point if you could have $100 billion, but what's the point if you can't use the 100 billion because you're being hunted for extermination, right? So my family always dangles these carrots with money and shit like that, pretending like the only thing that matters is money, right? Like my father. He chose my life. He chose making money over my life in the end. And I knew who he was. I wanted to see what decision he would make in the end. And he chose making money and letting Lorena Escobar, who he pretty much paid off to have me killed, he chose that over his own son, his own blood, showing that he has no concept of love, affection, relationships, liking someone, just a cold-blooded, psychotic sociopath, who's all about himself and nothing else. And it's like, it was just insane. And when I saw that, I was just like, I was so disgusted. I couldn't believe that was my family. No compassion for human emotion, no compassion for people, no sense of right and wrong, no sense of morality, no sense of ethics. And for me it's strange, because how did I learn the morals and ethics that I have? And then all of a sudden I turn 29 and I find out who my family really is. And it freaks the shit out of me, to tell you the truth. It's like, everything is a label. There is zero middle ground. anything. You asked a girl out in a workplace, to them that's the crime of all crimes, that you're going to be hunted and killed. That happens every day of our lives, people in the same workplace asking each other out. The whole thing with like Victoria Walker, you're friends with a girl that's the opposite. Wait, what is it? You're friends with someone who's the opposite sex who's married. So you're blurring the lines and you need to be hunted and killed by worldwide support. Well, think about that. Every single person you know, or every single one of us on this planet, is friends with the opposite sex who's married. Every single one of us. So, with that thinking, you're a dead man no matter what. You're blurring the lines. Well, not only did I know Victoria Walker like 5 years before she married Matt or even met him, it's irrelevant. People are friends with people who's the opposite sex who get married. What do? Break all contacts when you're friends with the opposite sex and they get married? You go, okay, I can no longer talk to you, right? I mean, it's like, that's insane. And the thing with like Victoria Walker, who's obviously sent after me to have me killed or rid of the world with the government, I totally lost my thought. I'm so tired. Oh yeah, the thing with Victoria Walker is that she was always calling me. It's like, I wasn't calling her saying, I want to see you, I want to see you, I know you're married, but I want to see you. No, she was calling me. Kevin, I want to put up with a website and I got an idea. Can you help me? Kevin, I want this. Kevin, can you help me with that? Kevin, can you? Right? And you're sitting there thinking, well, she's my friend, so I'm going to help my friend in need. And then you're hunted for it. But remember, you have a family, especially my father, who runs around saying no good deed goes unpunished, and he's using it some kind of psychological murder weapon. Like anytime you do something nice for someone, you're hunted and killed in a systematic manner, like going from one person to the next, right? And you can't even believe you're seeing it. Like Aubrey Fisher, Kevin, will you help me with my photography? I'm going to hunt you and kill you with model mayhem and worldwide support. Kevin, can you help me with this? Kevin, can you help me with that? Well, you know, when does Kevin get something in life, right? I mean, why am I out being the nicest person known to man, helping everyone, and they're hunting me down, trying to kill me with the polar opposite, right? Like, Tom Farley. I mean, think of all the things Tom Farley did to me. Think of the things that I've talked about today with Tom Farley. Think of Tom Farley's hate and rage towards me, right? All the things I talked, just some of the few things that I mentioned. Out of the probably hundreds and hundreds of things like the things that I mentioned earlier on talking to you. Now, think about this. Tom Farley is a raging speed addict and alcoholic, supposedly. He's kicked out of his house. I give him free room and board, right? And that whole time he's hunting me down, stalking me, trying to rid me of the world. Wait a minute. I'm giving the fucking guy free room and board. I'm going out of my way for this guy, right? Showing that I'm a really good friend. What else did I do for Tom Farley? I mean, aside from everything. When he was kicked out of his house, or after he was kicked out of his house, or maybe, no, before, I can't remember. No, before he was arrested for multiple DUI accidents. Right? Before that, and his job at his father's company was shaky. He comes to me for web design, input. And I say, look, Tom, you don't need to design thousands of pages for each product. You just need to write some database code, one page of like ASP back then before .NET, and a SQL database, and then you input all your products into the database, and instead of building thousands of HTML pages, you build one and input the data in the database, right? Well, of course, Tom says, which makes sense, I don't know how to do that, because he had no technical background. So I say, you know what, Tom? I've known you for fucking 30 years. I'll build the code for you. It'll take me like a couple days. Right? So I write Tom the code, and I put it on his website, right? Okay. Now think about that. Tom's running around trying to set me up to make it look like I'm abusive towards women. He's telling everyone I'm a white supremacist, hate black women. He's inviting me over to his house with his black girlfriend Hope, then trying to tell everyone I'm somehow harassing her and things like that, right? And here I am thinking, I just went out of my fucking way for my friend to build him some code, no charge, and he's running around literally with worldwide propaganda murder tools trying to end my life. Think about that for a second. And then you have a father who's working with him going, no good deed goes unpunished, to have me hunted and killed and never ever being able to have any type of normal or any life because I have this personality where I go out of my way for my friends, right? Now, Tom wasn't some random stranger I met on the street. I knew him for 30 years. Aubrey Fisher, right? The girl telling the world I'm a pedophile, the girl who ruined my studio photography career with the government and my family. I put up a free photography website for her, taking some of my existing code from Erotic Ranch and put her online for free, right? And I hunted worldwide for going out of my way for my friends. Now, Aubrey Fisher was never like a super close friend, but she was there where, hey Kevin, come to this party and do this and do that. So I thought she was a friend, but little did I know that she was having people show up to the parties, harassing and attacking me, right? Things like that, right? Now, I'm not going to tell you there's some fucked up losers and lowlifes out there. There are. But generally, most people, like I would say like 95%, want you around them because they want something positive, right? It is very rare, extremely rare, that someone fits the profile like my father. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, right? It is very rare. I mean, you see that in the movies all the time, but that's why they're movies, right? Because that personality, that psychotic murder personality, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Hence my father wanting me to move into his house when I came back from Colorado, manipulating me into those things, or giving me property for Signet with Mike Huntley. Not giving me, but extremely low rent on Ventura Boulevard. That personality, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, is extremely rare. Yet, somehow that's the story of my life. Mike Huntley, Paul Humphrey, Tom Farley, Brian Weaver, Tim Thompson, you name it, Aubrey Fisher, all conspiring together all across the planet, all fit that same, we're going to hunt down and kill Kevin and work on him together, while I'm being the nicest person known to man to my friends. Tom Farley, I'm introducing him to Adriana Olivares because I'm not interested in her showing that I'm not competing. I'm helping out my friends. Actually, I introduced Adriana Olivares to Paul Humphrey before Tom in hopes that she could meet someone because I wasn't interested in her, right? So, while these people talk about controlling and manipulating, they're the controlling, manipulating ones, right? Like, if I'm such a bad guy, why am I introduced? Hey, Adriana, I'm not really into you, but I know a guy that might want to meet you, right? Well, that's what friends fucking do. Even though my family's trying to make me think that's not how life works, and that I think differently. Right? Friends want the best for you. And if they have issues, they tell you the issue. But people like Tom Farley, who spent his entire life hunting me down with worldwide support to kill me since 8 years old, which is very strange that it jumps from one person to the next my entire life. That's freaky. Yeah, anyways, it's pretty fucked up. It's strange to cruise around and watch worldwide groups try to kill me for no reason at all, and no one's concerned about that, I guess. This is actually probably more like a real diary entry, right? How I'm talking now. The reason I do these is, I guess there's multiple reasons. One is, before I'm rid of this planet or whatever, the world's gonna need to know the truth. The sooner the better. Hopefully it'll stop. There's also a level of accountability. People need to be held accountable. But I think the truth is a powerful thing. I can't tell you what my fate is because for the last 17 years I've watched a planet full of people try to have me killed for reasons I can't comprehend, with a psychotic murdering family running around all day and night trying to rid me of the world for reasons I can't comprehend. And it starts, like I say, at 5 years old. And then what's freaky is nobody has, there we go. What's freaky is nobody really seems concerned about what's going on. That's what's freaky. If this was any other person on the planet, instantly people would be like, what the fuck? Right? Instantly. But yet Kevin Perlman is like, kill the guy. And it's the weirdest thing. It's just the weirdest fucking thing. There's a worldwide campaign to kill you because someone didn't like some joking shirt you bought at 21 in a shirt shop in Ashland, Oregon, my Lord's Gym shirt or whatever. I mean, who cares? Right? Who the fuck cares? And then they play this weird as shit. It's your behavior. People don't wear shirts like that. Sure they do. All fucking day and night they do. Hell, I saw a guy down in Hermosa Beach wearing the same Lord's Gym shirt about 5 years ago. I didn't see worldwide campaigns trying to kill him. Whatever. I've seen people wear all sorts of shit. Nobody cares. They laugh. They go, that's funny, right? I recently, within the last couple of years, rebought the Lord's Gym shirt at thechristianstore.com. Okay? If that shirt is so bad that there's a worldwide campaign to kill me, then how come you can buy a Lord's Gym shirt at christianbook.com or a million other places, right? I mean, if the Christians are selling it and think it's funny, then it's not a big fucking deal, right? I've had cops come into Starbucks trying to hint that it's the shirt making people hunt me down and kill me, and it's my fault for my reckless behavior and weird shit like Mike Huntley told me. And that's crazy. That's like anal retentive times a billion, right? I mean, nobody is that anal retentive unless they're like just psychotic murderers who have snapped, or some kind of movie script, right? Like where you write in these characters that you rarely ever see, right? The suspension of disbelief, right? I mean, what is the reason we watch movies? Because it's not true, because it's fantasy, right? That's why we enjoy movies. If we watched movies because they were true, then you'd have to be like a demented psychotic, right? Like, if you watch a horror movie and you think it's true and you're like, that's fucking hysterical because you think it's true, that's how life is, then yeah, you're crazy, right? But the reason everyone loves horror movies, or whatever, whether it's a horror movie, whether it's space movies, whether it's a fantasy with dragons or whatever, we enjoy the movie because it's something different than what we see every day, right? That's why we enjoy it. Not because it's what we see every day. And that's common sense. For example, if I grabbed the camera and I just videoed myself talking to people all day, right? And no edits, no special effects, no nothing, you would be bored shitless in the first 10 seconds, right? Hence why suspension of disbelief, fantasy, fiction exists. So that you enjoy it, so that you're entertained. If it's real, you're bored out of your mind. Of course, for years they did the reality show thing, but those are still pumped full of bullshit and scripts, right? I mean, they're not really reality, right? And they're all written in such a way for entertainment, right? People are told what to talk about. It's edited together so that it's entertainment. It's all entertainment. Whether they call it reality shows or not, it's not really reality show. It's not really reality. Some get a little documentary-ish, but it's still edited to deal with the highs, the lows, the climax at the end, and the cliffhanger, right? Because without the cliffhanger, you're not going to want to watch the next episode, right? Or I guess, in the sake of the reality show, they don't really have cliffhangers, but they do have sort of a climax, and then they do the same template over and over each week, right? Whatever, I don't know. There's one like Pimp My Ride or something. I don't remember. There's one where they repo a car, and someone thinks their car was repoed, and then they hot rod it, and they give it back to them at the end, or something like that. And so, obviously, the climax is the expression from the guy that, oh, my car wasn't really repoed and you did this for me, and that's great. And so, that's where the peak and the climax is, and then you're like, yay, right? And then they do that same template every week, right? I am definitely not a reality show type person. I was born before that generation, and I never, sorry, I'm looking who came behind me and parked behind me. It looks like a Dodge, probably Ram pickup, I'm not sure. I just never saw any entertainment in it. Not my thing. For me, it's a combination of a really good story and fantasy, like special effects. Whether I do like horror movies still, even though my family has launched a worldwide campaign to kill me over my brother showing me horror movies with his friends as a kid, trying to say that's somehow a crime. Of course, it's not a crime for him, just for me. Makes no sense. So horror movies are pretty cool. Especially I really like the haunted house one by that. God, I don't remember what they're called. Like Annabelle, right? That guy, the guy that does those. And they're based off those supernatural fraud haunted house people, but the movies make good movies. Although they try to say that this is based on a true story, which is like, yeah, whatever. But the movies are actually, I really like those, right? And the older B movies were pretty fucking hysterical, just the cheeseball level, right? The cheesy latex and the cheesy stories are hysterical back in the 80s, whatever. And the names. The Mad Butcher, and things like that. Dr. Giggles, whatever. My Bloody Valentine, all that old nostalgia shit. Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bolorama. Toxic Avenger was pretty damn hysterical for its time. Class of Nukem High, which they filmed at my high school, which I don't believe is a coincidence. They were working on some angle on me, I think. Whatever. So, I used to love that shit, and that's kind of outdated, but my newer thing is that haunted shit or whatever. What is the Ouija board shit? I watched some of those newer ones, whatever. There's so many horror movies now. Except now with the visual effects, some of the horror movies can get pretty freaking freaky, like gross, right? Like back in the 80s, like when you're watching like the arms and legs fly off, it had this cheeseball look to it, right? You could see the latex, or like Quentin Tarantino, right? It looks fake, right? But now we have the technology. A lot of the newer stuff is just, some of it's pretty freaking gross, actually, because it looks so real, right? But now, I watch horror movies more once in a while, but I'm more into the fantasy, right? Like whatever, like the movie Gravity, I thought was cool. Or I like the space movies, whatever. Passengers, is it Passengers or Passenger 57? I'm not sure, but Passengers was a cool movie, although there was a lot of tangents or parallels that they threw in, kind of directed, I think, from my life to sort of rub in what they're doing to my life to make me feel like I'm a bad person or whatever. Still a good movie, and I like that type of movie. And the older ones, 2001 Space Odyssey, 2010 Space Odyssey. The Star Treks are pretty cool. Love Star Wars. Has nothing to do with Alexis Amore loving Star Wars. And if anything, she probably got into Star Wars because I like Star Wars. Now, I'm not some crazy Star Wars dude that walks around with a Darth Vader mask on or anything, but Star Wars, pretty cool. I actually like the original Star Wars better than when they started doing the prequels, because the prequels were too CG-ish, too animation-ish. Like, I like A New Hope, for example. I like that better than the prequels because it the effects aren't overkill and it's more how it would be in real life, as if someone was up in space, right? That's kind of and you notice the pattern is after they did the 3 prequels, the ones they're doing now are more realistic, like A New Hope is, less cartoony. I don't know how you explain it. Less but anyways, my point was, my family doesn't like me watching movies either. They don't like me listening to music. They don't like me watching movies. They play their little mind games, how I conform to media. And then they put messages in the media to try to make me look like a schizo. And they talked all about what they were doing starting at the age 5, trying to make it look like I conform to movies by saying things from movies or reenacting parts of movies called street theater to try to make me look crazy. But anyways, that's the point, is that life isn't about psychotic families trying to rip your life apart and rid you of the world with worldwide support. Life is about doing things to accomplishments in life. Making that movie so that everyone enjoys your movie, even though I've never made a movie, but let's say creating art. Creating art so everyone enjoys your art, talks about your art, loves your art, and doesn't hunt you and try to kill you based on your art, which, ironically, every piece of art I create, I have worldwide campaigns trying to hunt me and kill me, but there's nothing in my art that would give anyone reason to do that, right? But that's why I love creating art. And then I have a family like, well, you shouldn't show your art to anyone because art is about for you. Well, yeah. I mean, art is about you and enjoying creating it, but what's the point of creating something if you file it away in a closet, right? Of course, then they'll try to collect art that nobody's seen of mine and use it against me with the opposite argument, right? So then you watch them flip from this argument to the polar opposite argument based on how they can destroy your life, right? Showing their true colors and motive. But anyways, that's why I love creating art. I mean, I love creating everything. I loved when I was building whatever. I spent a year and a half building, I renamed it to Vibester. No, what did I rename? Oh, I built Tweet Studio. A whole different way of tweeting visually. And I was hoping that it was something that everyone could gain and use and benefit from. And me obviously try to figure out some way to make money from it so that I can eat. Instead, I was met with hostility, rage, erotic ranch, right? Same thing, met with hostility, rage, my family, Kevin's just trying to meet women and he's a fraud, my family turning the adult industry after me to have me hunted and killed, which they started at an early age. These are all things that I hoped that people could benefit and thrive from. And for me, things like Erotic Ranch was kind of like the Facebook personality before Facebook, right? I build a tool that everyone can benefit from, and I figure out a way to make money as well. Now, why are people mad about that? I can't answer the fucking question. Now, if you want to throw the businesses war and competition bullshit, it was a Dodge. It's like a Dodge Caravan. The whole business is war mentality. First of all, people that walk around with, it is very rare that you find a business is war mentality like the movie Rising Sun or something, but that mentality comes from multi-billion-dollar companies, not some random guy on his own coming up with an idea and starting to build something before it ever happens, right? I mean, people generally don't hunt down and try to kill Mark Zuckerberg the day he starts writing the code for Facebook, right? Well, that's the template that's been applied to me. I get an idea, instantly, before I even start it, I met with worldwide groups trying to sabotage it, hunt me, and kill me before the idea even comes to be. Okay? So, why is that? What is the reasoning? The reasoning is because my family, with the police and government, don't want me self-sufficient, supporting myself, making money, having friends, having a life. They want to lock me in a jail starting at 5 years old and torture and kill me for reasons I can't comprehend, because whether you think I intentionally threw water and mud on a car or not at 4 years old doesn't explain what we're seeing, right? It doesn't explain it. There are tons of kids at 4 years old that might go, I don't like that car or whatever, and want to throw some mud on or something stupid like that. There are kids that take their little sandbox shovel and throw it at their mother or something, right? These aren't things that launch worldwide murder and government kill operations. Hence why my website, these diary entries, my blogs, is so important. Not just for me, but for the next person this happens to. Who knows? Maybe they're born with the next family with psychology degrees and they're hunted for extermination. And they know the right people, right? It can never happen again. I'm pretty much assuming that my days are numbered because nobody sees the wrong in any of this. Nobody's coming forward. No one's saying anything publicly. Nobody thinks, no matter how many people I tell, very rare that someone says this needs to stop and people are going to get together and stop it, right? They all just sit there, die. And the neutrals just go, oh, whatever, I don't care, just die. But, so yeah, these are very important. It's important to understand what really is going on in my life. And it's not that I'm some horrible, mean, public nuisance who has done all these horrible things. I grew up in a paranoid psychotic, a family of paranoid psychotic murderers, and they got what they wanted starting at 5 years old, and larger worldwide groups keep coming after me to have me killed for reasons I can't comprehend. But what's most important for people to understand is this starts at a 4-year-old. And their argument is that this 4-year-old did the equivalent of flying airplanes into the Twin Towers and is a terrorist, right? That's their argument. Some water and mud on a car, which is harmless, is the same thing as flying 747s into the Twin Towers, right? I mean, that's their argument. And it's scary to not only see people that think that way, but somehow managed, like Adolf Hitler, to build worldwide murder operations against me. It's freaky. It's like this. It's like an episode of Twilight Zone. It's like you're looking at a guy, and this isn't a literal, but you're looking at a guy that kind of like is that guy who spent his life traveling the world, feeding and sheltering the homeless. And I don't know if I want to take it that far, but and all of a sudden he turns 29 and he wakes up and there's a worldwide campaign. You can't be trusted. We're going to kill you with an entire planet full of people. And I'm not talking like the movie Volunteers, because that's a movie. And I know people are like, well, he takes lines out of the movie and makes jokes from the movie The Volunteers. But I'm talking reality here within the context of a realistic conversation and not jokes. And I spent my life giving and helping, and I have been met my entire life with how do we hunt down and kill this guy with worldwide support. And so it's like it's the Twilight Zone, right? You wake up and you're like, am I really seeing what I'm seeing? It doesn't make any sense. It's something, it's as if you're in a movie, a complete movie that couldn't happen, and hence that's probably why my family's doing it, because they want to make it look like I conform to media and don't have a grasp on reality and things like that. Yet you're talking to the most well-grounded, stable person known to man, especially compared to my family, where they're just fucking off in la-la land, have no concept of reality. Example, my stepfather, Arnold Silver, thinks if you go to a gym 4 times a week, you have OCD, and that's somehow unhealthy for you. Okay? Well, I've never heard of someone telling you that going to the gym is unhealthy for you, even if you go 7 days a week, right? My family's sending women after me like Christina Stalinsky from Arizona, who finds out I smoked weed occasionally in college, running around saying I'm addicted to marijuana and I need to be stopped for simply mentioning a couple times that I smoked weed to this girl in the several years that I knew her, right? Well, if you can't tell someone around you that you smoke some weed and there's a worldwide campaign to kill you, that's insane. Every single person I knew in college smoked weed, did acid, did shrooms, did coke, did fucking all sorts of shit, right? Nobody could give a flying fuck. But Kevin Perlman smokes weed a couple times, and there's billions of government dollars to have him killed. Okay? You don't think that's a little strange? I wear a shirt, says Laura's Gym, there's a worldwide campaign to kill me. I smoke some weed in college now and then, there's a worldwide campaign to kill me. Right? Doesn't make any sense. You can't come up with any type of valid argument. Doesn't make any sense. Because normally, if you tell that guy over there, hey, Kevin Perlman smoke weed, they're going to say, so? I smoke weed. I've smoked weed, I smoke weed. Or they may say, I don't smoke weed, but whatever. Because people in college smoke weed. Who the fuck cares, right? Now it's fully legal in California, but that doesn't really change anything from people. Everyone smoked weed. I mean, if you were, before it was legal, if you were to put like a number on the amount of people that smoked weed before it was even medicinally legal, I would say a good 30-40%, right? Okay, so it's kind of like drinking alcohol during the Prohibition days. Nobody's going to come after you normally for something like that. So it's fair to say that they're going to use it as an excuse to have you killed because they don't like you. But normally no one would give a shit. Anyways, I'm drained, so I'm going to just sit here. We can watch the sunset here. Let's see. There. Pretty cool sunset, right? Not really a photographic one, not enough clouds and cool things, but pretty colors. We got pretty colors. There we go. Let's enjoy the colors. Because life is supposed to be about enjoying life. We make money to eat. We make money to be happy. And in between that, we're supposed to go out and live our lives. That's the point of life. And my family doesn't seem to understand that. Well, I have a mother that runs around, you're brilliant, but I'm going to sabotage you on everything you do. They have this mentality like you're never allowed to leave your house. You're only allowed to make money. You're not allowed to have relationships. You're only allowed to make money. But we're going to sabotage you for making money. Right? And you're not allowed to talk to anyone in the workplace other than yes or no, or you're fraud. Right? Well, let me tell you, when my father didn't think I was looking and he was in the office, he was kissing employees on the cheeks and hugging them and everything, right? So, the hypocrite father that says, I got into studio photography and adult websites to meet women is married to Shelley Humphrey, who was originally his secretary, has cheated on all of his women, and you name it, and then he's coming after me for blinking my eyes wrong when working with models and things like that. Now remember, out of all the adult websites I've built, out of all the studio shoots I've done, out of all the coffee shops I've been to, I've never asked out one girl, right? There was only one girl that I told I liked in a work environment, and that was Mila, and that was the end point for me. That was really when Mike Huntley was, I've given you enough rope to hang yourself with. But yet, all the fucking strippers are dating the DJs and employees in the strip club and shit like that and whatever. Now, I'm not going to talk about whether it's a good idea or not to date people in the workplace, because a lot of times it can it can end up poorly. But what I am going to say is that if they're not crimes, like my family is saying that I committed a crime and I need to be hunted and killed for telling Mila I liked her, right? With worldwide support. Hence, talking about the real questions and what's really going on is what these diary entries and what my website is about. Because if you tell a girl you like her, which I have done a very few times in my life, and there's worldwide campaigns to kill you, then there's a whole underlying message based on you date who we tell you or we kill you, right? Like Adriana Olivares. They tried to force her on me when my family didn't get what they wanted. You see what my life is, even 17 years later, right? Right? Like socialism, like a mix of communism and socialism. You didn't do what we told you to do. You date who we tell you to date. You have children when we tell you to have children. You marry when we tell you to marry. You name it. And then they try to make you look like some crazy weird person to cover up their crimes. With people like Aubrey Fisher sent after me. Now, while Aubrey Fisher says I committed the weird crime, which there's no such thing. Once again, people are hunted by worldwide support with the weird label. It's unheard of. Everyone's weird to everyone else, okay? Everyone's different. And that's what makes the world such a great place, is everyone being different and weird, right? Andy Warhol is weird to a lawyer, but he's not being hunted and killed over it, right? He's actually being praised. And so, Mark Zuckerberg's ideas. Everyone loves Mark Zuckerberg. There might be a few nut jobs out there. Well, like Elon Musk or whatever, the Tesla dude, everyone loves him, whatever, right? So, the bullshit that's thrown at me from my family with their brainwashing to try to make me think that what's going on is normal, and my father telling me weird shit that I think differently and I don't know how the world works, is just brainwashing bullshit from psychotic murderers, trying to get me to accept my fate of being hunted and killed. Just like Adolf Hitler probably told the Jews that the showers are to keep them clean and to have a better life. Anyways, I'm gonna tone down the convo. Because I need to relax a little here and just chill. So if you want to swing around this pole that's in front of me and pull off your clothes, I have no problem with that. Oh, we do have another car that pulled up behind me. Can't see what they're doing though. But they are leaving. It's funny, these ships, I don't know what these ships are, if they're like fishing boats or whatever. When I used to... Oop. There we go. Let's see. I don't know if you can see these boats here. When I used to go up behind these mountains. Let's see. I used to go up behind these mountains with my telescope doing astrophotography. And these boats would show up with these lights and totally destroy the light, like add light pollution to the pitch black sky. I don't know what they look like, fishing boats, so they must all be fishing boats. Let's see if I can get a good view of the fishing boats. Nah. I can't. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing. That's the one thing. Living by the water is pretty freaking cool. I don't know if I could live somewhere that wasn't by the water. And it has nothing to do with Atlanta Ocean. These cigars are really good. I gotta buy me like a pack of these. But let's see. If this cigar is like $14, and like what do? Like you buy like, let's say 50 cigars. I gotta do my Goodwill hunting math here. Minus a billion. Wait, is that right? 14 times 100 is that right? 1,400? It can't be right. Split in half. Wait, 1400. See, I'm horrible with math. 14 times 100 is 1,400, right? Minus half, cut that in half is 700. For 50 of these, $700? That doesn't sound right. I don't know, let's take a look. How much? Let's see. Cigars. Buy. Let's just type cigars buy. What do they sell? How many cigars do they sell in a box? Cigars by brand. Here we go. Monte Cristo Peruvian cigars. Uh-oh, Alexis Amore is going to be on the internet now. Okay, and not that I have anything against her. I don't know why she spazzes out and, like, runs around telling everyone I'm doing all these things to her. Let's see. Where is a... Come on, I want, like, a case or... Boxes, here we go. Cigar boxes. Oh, maybe I'm right. Okay. 10 Monte Cristo Peruvian cigars for $192, right? And I'll go through like 10 cigars easily, probably in a month. So a couple $100 a month for cigars, right? You know, on the Kevin Perlman lifestyle budget here, that's a lot of money. So probably for 10 of these, well, okay, 10 of these, 10 times 14, $140. I guess that's not too bad. But that's only 10. But $140 for 10 of these, whatever. Should I do the square root of 2? Wait, square root of 3. How's it go? From the movie Harold and Kumar, the square root of, right? Anyways. This is my little, like, babbling nonsense break because I'm kind of sick of talking about the important shit, and this is my time off, so I can understand if no one wants to watch this part of this, which I'd actually be surprised if people are sitting through the other ones, but I hope they do take the time to listen to the other ones, or all of these, whether they're driving. That's why I'm gonna have MP3s downloadable for everyone, maybe if they want to listen to me talk about my life with MP3s or whatever, now or in the future after I'm dead, whatever. I hope people do eventually listen to these, because I feel they're important, but I understand that some of these range from 2 to 5 hours of me talking, and most people probably can't sit through that, but I think the information is important and will eventually, people will need to kind of understand who I am and what's really going on, because I met with people all day and night. You don't talk, we're going to make you look crazy, you live in complete isolation, and you don't tell anyone who you really are and what's really going on, which is beyond any level of strange to me. I can't believe that that's my life, but that is the life that was created for me out of the anger, hate, and rage from my family, right? Which is beyond any level of disturbing, but they are doing it with the government, police, NSA, FBI. Once again, why? There's no real why, just the family I was born into are psychotic murderers. What disturbs me more than anything is why everyone worldwide are helping them. If I had a child and I started telling people worldwide, hunt down, torture, kill this person, I can't imagine first anyone capable of doing that, but that's what my family started in on me at 5 years old, with the police and government, and for some strange reason everyone's helping. It is very strange, and they keep telling me, you do not tell anyone or we kill you. It is very strange. Ooh. Let's see. Check out the sunset. They're letting me in. Oh, you know what the next topic I might do is introverted. Because my family uses this whole introverted thing as like some kind of weapon. Like, introverted versus extroverted. There's no such thing. I was born fairly introverted, but that's not like a defining thing, right? Like, hey, that guy's introverted, so now I have to hunt him, kill him. Well, once again, I've never heard of anyone going after people saying, you're introverted, so, that's weird or different, so we're gonna hunt you, right? Never heard of anything like that. But it's like I've always said, like I say on these entries, remember I come from a family who has absolutely zero communication skills, so you can't communicate with them. You don't know where anything's coming from, you don't know why they're doing what they're doing, and to your face, you're imagining it, and we want the best for you, except when a psychotic murderer wants the best for you, it's like, I want to chop off all your limbs, or put you in heaven or hell, or something freaky like that. And in their mind, that's the best for you, right? Now, if we're talking about the crazy label, am I crazy or are they crazy? Because I'm not telling people what I want, and I want this for myself. It's coming from other people. But not only that, all the things I've been accused of, it's not coming from me, it's coming from other people, right? So, if all the things the world has heard about me isn't from me, then it's not true. Example, if you heard all this shit from secret sources, propaganda across the network that's hidden from me, it's not coming from me, and so therefore it's not truthful. Which eventually I'm going to do a segment on how this all progressed, the technology used, how they craft their arguments, how all these arguments from other people in my family are one-sided arguments, if that makes sense. So, for example, some psycho family running around saying he can't see himself and this is who he is. Well, how the fuck does my family know who I am? They're following me around trying to get dirt on me my entire life, right? They don't know who I am. I went off to college at 18, and really, if you think about it, what does my family really know about me? Well, they knew me up until I left college, and apparently they didn't know me then because all the things they're accusing me of are other people's things, or the frame jobs or setup attempts by all these mass groups of people my entire life, so they don't really know me, right? And so it's weird talking to my parents because they have this, or anyone for that matter, but more so my family, they think they know me based on spying on me and trying to get dirt on me, but they have no clue who I am, and then to find out they never really had a clue who I was since 5 years old. Like, to tell the world I'm a bad seed for throwing water in the street and not seeing a car, and then defining that as some kind of black and white label, says that they're incapable of actually getting to know me, right? Because they see something negative and they hold on to it for their entire life, and they are unwilling to actually accept me for who I am because they're stuck on stupid things that don't matter, right? And then they give it out to the world. That's the part that is annoying or criminal, because it's one thing for my family to have the trust issues, but normally if you have a family that's that fucked up, you walk away from them and it's a done deal, right? But my family you can't walk away from because they're busy constantly telling the world lie after lie, and then saying you're imagining it, do what we say or we kill you, right? So, you get the idea. It doesn't matter how good of a person you are by my family and these mass groups they're working with. They keep trying to find dirt instead of trying to accept you to see who you are, right? It's constantly, you did this, you did that, you did the other thing. But it's never, I want to get to know you or see who you are. Well, isn't that how life is normally? Normally people don't know who the other person is, so they don't care, right? Example, Tom Cruise. I don't know who Tom Cruise is. I don't like him. I don't dislike him. I don't know who Mark Zuckerberg is. I don't like him. I don't dislike him. I don't know who Elon Musk is. I don't like him or dislike him. Now, if I start to hang out with some of these people and get to know them, I might throw in some judgments. Well, I don't like this person, I'm not going to hang out with them, right? And that's it. End of deal. End of story. Why in my life do I meet people, do absolutely nothing wrong? I met Kevin, he farted wrong, he tried to kill me, and he needs to be hunted by worldwide groups. And this goes from person to person since 5 years old, right? He farted wrong, he blinked wrong, he yawned wrong, he pushed 1 millimeter on the gas pedal imperfectly. And now he can see through what we're doing, so we hate him even more, right? I mean, ironically, if you want to talk about a real phenomenon, now that's a fucking phenomenon. And where the hell did I put my lighter? Oh, there it is. Right? That's a fucking phenomenon. Oh, that looks cool on the camera. This little Yi camera is fairly impressive for what it is. But, you know, it's a tiny little sensor, so that's what it is for a couple $100. But for what it is, it does a really good job, you know. Yeah, so anyways, I guess I'll cut the feed here because this is kind of going nowhere. But you know, maybe you kind of see me right now, instead I'm talking about the horrible, endless events in my life. Maybe it's good that you kind of get to see a little of who I am with the guard down, just chilling out as I would talking with someone if I was out here maybe with them at the beach, kind of talking like a human being, right? And maybe that's a side that people need to see because I'm not allowed to be a person around people, which doesn't make any sense. It's very strange. My family's fucking banana ball fucking nuts, like the movie. What's the fucking movie? That was Thor, where that line, banana balls, right? Whatever. But they're fucking banana ball nuts, but whatever. You know, and that's something they're trying to stop, is allowing me to be a person around people, which is what you're supposed to do, right? They don't want me having any aspect of life. They want to lock me in a prison of terror, for the crime of imperfection at 4 years old. So anyways, I'll cut the feed here, and till next segment, I gotta figure out what to talk about.